What is going on, everybody? So today is going to be a fun one. We are going to take a look at the Virtual Boy for the Nintendo Switch Online service. This does work with your Nintendo Switch 2 or Nintendo Switch 1. Here is the box. Right on the back of the box, it just gives you instructions on how to set it up. It is a really simple and really easy. You do get the two cradles for the Switch 2 and the Switch 1. But yeah, this is a replica of the original Virtual Boy, which is pretty neat. I mean, it's like a one-to-one replica. Obviously, you're not going to get the guts of the Virtual Boy that they put into the original console back in the day, but you're going to use your Nintendo Switch handheld in order to play some of these games, which actually do release, I believe, the February 17th, and today's February 16th, so I have to wait till this evening in order to play the Virtual Boy games. But there is something that a lot of you might not know when it comes to this Virtual Boy headset, which we're going to get into in just a little bit. But on the back of the box, it shows you how to set it up. It is really simple. You get an adjustment for the angle you for the headset. It's really easy, just clips together. But let's go ahead and open it up and take a look inside of the box here. Now, right at the top here, you get the view of the headset. I don't really care for Nintendo's boxing when it comes to these classic controllers and now the Virtual Boy replica, because that window is super thin plastic, but whatever, it is what it is. So let's take a look here. I mean, this is cool. This looks exactly like a brand new Virtual Boy from the 90s. I believe the Virtual Boy was released in 1996, if I'm not mistaken. But let's go ahead and take this plastic off here, and I'll show you guys just a little bit around the unit. So as you can see here, it says Nintendo Switch 2 on the bottom, so that must be the cradle there. But if you look closely on the bottom there, you can see a volume and a headphone jack, and then the extension and also the controller port, which these are not functional at all. At all. These are just there for looks, because that's what the original console looked like. But also there's the clip there, and it's got the red goggles in there. It's got some really cool Nintendo branding on the sides of the headset. I love that. That is original too. And as you can see there, the Nintendo branding on the inside of the lens, but there's another logo there. That's so cool. I love it. God, it just brings me back. Now, honestly, guys, I never really enjoyed or played that much of the original Virtual Boy, so this is going to be pretty fun to check out. These are also just there for looks. They do nothing at all. Nothing at all. But I mean, this is one-to-one, guys. I mean, I think this is actually just a tad bit bigger, if I'm not mistaken, as far as like thickness goes, because you have to put your Switch inside of it. But let's go ahead and take a look. What else did we get here in the box? A bunch of cardboard. This right here is the stand. So let's take this out, throw that away. We got the stand in there. We'll set that up in just a second. And some instructions, little user usage manual. Don't need that really, but I will keep it because I keep everything CIB and put together. So I will put the box back together once I'm done. And here's the other cradle. This is the other cradle for your Nintendo Switch 1 unit. However, you cannot use a Switch Lite, but you can use a Switch 1 OG or a Switch OLED with this. So that's pretty cool. Because they are different sizes, you will need to replace this on the bottom of the headset there. As you can see, the Switch 2 one is already installed, and that's what I'll be using in this video, is a Switch 2. But yeah, pretty beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love how the Nintendo's using these old molds and just replicating these old handhelds, or excuse me, controllers, and now this. But the stand, actually really good build quality. You open it up here all the way, and it's got little things that it clicks into. It's got nice rubber feet on the bottom. And an adjustment right in the center there for angle viewing. So yeah, nice rubber feet on the bottom there. Sorry about all the paint all over my hands. I do paint tubs and showers for a living, so my hands are always like that. But there is right there where you're going to be putting in the Virtual Boy. So you just take it, you slide it down in there, and then it just clicks in. I got this eventually, but it just kind of clicked in a little bit, and you're ready to go. Alright, now that I got the headset mounted on the stand, this is what it looks like overall. It is pretty good size. I mean, you can see my Switch 2 down there at the bottom. It does sit up pretty high. I would say about oh, 12 inches or so from the table, but it's comfortable to use. It really is. I'm glad that it is big. I'm glad it's an original, because you're going to want to use a table or desk in front of you while you're playing this. And I do recommend for now to use Joy-Cons, or a Pro Controller. But right there on the top, this little lid flips open, and this is where you're going to insert your console into, and it just slides down in. Now, the image you're seeing on my Switch 2 is Wario for the Virtual Boy, but obviously that's just an image from the eShop, so you're not going to be able to see it as is and with these lenses, because first of all, it's going to be really hard to, but as you can see here, it's got the red lenses on. I believe there's going to be other colors coming out soon to give you that, but that's how it's going to set up. So now, what I wanting to show you guys is that you can take these lenses off, and you have the two lenses there for each eye that are just clear. They're see-through. They're not any color at all, okay? And this is where it gets really cool. So I don't know if you guys remember, but remember Labo VR? And there was a few games for the Labo VR that you could play in 3D. Well, one of them is Breath of the Wild. And now that you have the Nintendo Switch 2 edition with better resolution, better frame rates, let's check it out. Let's put Toy-Con VR goggles on, and we'll just pop it in the Virtual Boy and check it out and see how it works. So you get the split image there, you get the two images there for each eye, and it'll just slide right in. So yeah, this is pretty cool. Now I can play Breath of the Wild in 3D with better lenses, better resolution, and better frame rate. But not only that, there's other games that they updated for the Labo VR. Not only their Breath of the Wild, but also Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch. That's really cool. I cannot wait to test that game out. And then Smash Bros. Ultimate. That'll be fun to check out too. Also, Toad Treasure Tracker is available in that mode. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be, I think, some really cool potential with this Virtual Boy headset. I mean, yes, it's not as cool as like a 3DS with glasses free and you just hold it in your hand. I mean, there's definitely something really cool about the 3DS. It's just the technology behind that is just awesome. But I mean, for nostalgic reasons, for, gamers like myself that grew up in the 90s, this is going to be pretty cool. And that was a good purchase for me. I think I'm going to really enjoy this. Not only playing Virtual Boy games that I didn't really get to play back in the day, now I can play some of these Switch games in 3D. And what will they do next? Will Nintendo add more games on there that are 3D? That would be freaking cool. Please, Nintendo, do that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.